Chapter 71 It is better to benefit your own sect than to benefit others. Ding. Release a random task. Please lead the sect brothers to participate in the Secret Realm sect competition held by Tianhen sect. The task has only one requirement. The host must get the second place in the competition, and the sect brothers led cannot get the first place. If the task is successful, a large number of waste points will be awarded. If the task fails, a large number of waste points will be deducted. You can refuse. At this moment, the voice of the system suddenly rang in Yifeng's mind. Secret Realm sect competition? Must get the second place? Hearing the random tasks released by the system, Yifeng also smiled bitterly. Although he didn't know the details of this Secret Realm sect competition, he had to get second place, which might be a bit difficult. And not letting his fellow apprentice get first place might be to prevent him from getting stuck. Big brother, there is a Secret Realm sect competition held by Tianhen sect. Do you know about it? After thinking for a while, Yifeng looked at Chen Haoyu and asked directly. If he didn't know, he would have to ask his master Luo Qianxue. Huh. However, when hearing Yifeng's question, Chen Haoyu showed a trace of surprise and asked, Junior brother, how did you know about this? A few days ago, someone who claimed to be from the Tianhen sect sent an invitation letter. The purpose was to invite our Xinghuan sect to participate in this Secret Realm sect competition. However, I don't know how the other party negotiated with the sect master in the end. Anyway, the sect master directly rejected it. Soon, Chen Haoyu told everything he knew. Is that so? Then I'll go ask my master. With that, Yifeng rushed towards the sect hall again. Is there something? Seeing Yifeng coming back, Luo Qianxue asked directly in a cold voice. Master, I heard from my senior brother that a few days ago, someone claiming to be from the Tianhen sect sent an invitation letter to our sect. Is that true? Yifeng looked at Luo Qianxue and asked directly. That's right. The Tianhen sect is the only first-class sect nearby. This time, they also sent invitation letters to dozens of sects around. The purpose is to hold the Secret Realm sect competition they are holding. However, all the sects that agree to the invitation must put a certain amount of cultivation resources into a small secret realm controlled by Tianhen sect, and each sect also has a limit on the number of people. At that time, who can get how much cultivation resources in the secret realm depends on their own ability. It seems fair, but that small secret realm is controlled by Tianhen sect after all. The environment, terrain, etc. inside are probably already memorized by their own disciples. The other sects that agree to participate are actually at a disadvantage. In the end, it is still their Tianhen sect that will make a profit. Luo Qianxue seemed to see through everything and told the situation about the Secret Realm sect competition. Master, I really want to participate in this Secret Realm sect competition. After hearing this, Yifeng directly expressed his thoughts. No, our sect is poor and can't afford those cultivation resources. Halfway through, Luo Qianxue suddenly found that Yifeng was gradually getting excited. The eyes staring at him were extremely hot, as if eagerly waiting for her next words. Crazy! Luo Qianxue was completely mad at this time. She actually forgot that her eldest disciple was a crazy prodigal. I was afraid that as soon as I said that I couldn't produce those cultivation resources, the other party would pat his chest and say that his disciple had them. Master, can't you produce those cultivation resources? My disciple has them. Seeing Luo Qianxue suddenly stop talking at the key point, Yifeng was also anxious, and he said what Luo Qianxue said next. Master, you know the efficacy of this enlightenment pill. I don't have much now, so take out 50. I have some 9-leaf soul-returning grass now, so take out 50 plants. And take out 3 pieces of this golden silkworm star shining stone. I have quite a few of this purple thunder, crazy lion great fairy blood, so take out 100 drops. Looking at the treasures that Yi Feng took out that made her jealous, Luo Qianxue was so angry that her whole body trembled. Her prodigal disciple was actually going to use so many treasures as cultivation resources to put into the secret realm. Is there such a prodigal? It is no exaggeration to say that even if all the cultivation resources of all the sects that agreed to participate in this sect competition were taken out, they might not be worth a drop of purple thunder crazy lion great fairy blood. Master, are these enough? Yi Feng looked at Luo Qianxue and asked, how could he let go of such a prodigal opportunity? Thinking of the scene where dozens of disciples from various sects went completely crazy because of the good stuff he brought out, Yi Feng couldn't help but get excited. As a spendthrift, he deserved the title if more people saw his spendthrift behavior. Luo Qianxue took a deep breath, and then tried to suppress her trembling delicate hands that wanted to slap Yi Feng to death, and said directly, you should hand these things over to the sect. The cultivation resources needed for this sect competition will be prepared by the master. Okay, don't you like to spend money? Then I will confiscate all your good things, let me see how you spend money. Thinking of this, Luo Qianxue, with a cold face, suddenly laughed. This smile was like the melting of glaciers and the revival of all trees, which was extremely charming. Swish! Hearing this, Yi Feng waved his hand and directly collected all the things on the ground into the system space, and even showed a vigilant look at Luo Qianxue. What's the situation? I asked you to hand it over to the sect, and you took it all away. What do you mean? Seeing Yi Feng's operation, the smug smile on Luo Qianxue's face instantly stiffened. Master, the disciple cannot hand it over to the sect. Yi Feng said his decision with a firm look at this time. Why? Luo Qianxue was stunned. You are such a spendthrift that you even brought a long-term source of income to the sect. Now you are unwilling to hand over these things to the sect. This is unscientific. Because I know that if I hand them over to the sect, Master will definitely treat these things as treasures. Disciple must not allow these junk to occupy the position of the sect's treasure house. We must spend them all. Let's not talk about anything else. Just take the 9-leaf soul-returning grass. Master, if you want to take it to soak your feet, disciple will definitely hand it over to you personally. Yi Feng explained seriously at this time. You. Hearing what Yi Feng said, Luo Qianxue pointed at Yi Feng and was so angry that she couldn't speak for a long time. If Yi Feng really handed them all over, she would really offer all these treasures. Who would have thought that Yi Feng had already guessed this? Okay. Luo Qianxue gritted her teeth, looked at Yi Feng and said directly, you can't take these things. Since you want to participate in that sect competition, I will be responsible for the cultivation resources needed, but the things you just took out must be handed over to the sect. You can tell me how to spend them, and I will do as you say. Finally, Luo Qianxue made a decision that would change her life. Instead of letting those outsiders get it, it is better to spend money in the sect and let these people in the sect enjoy this wave of benefits. Chapter 72 Fighting Saint Body, Luo Qianxue's Psychological Shadow. Hearing this, Yi Feng was also a little surprised. This is not like the master he knows. But soon Yi Feng laughed. As long as Luo Qianxue spent money this time, would the second time be far away? Spending money is definitely an addictive behavior. Soon, Yi Feng took out all the things he had put away before. How do I use the 50 enlightenment pills? Luo Qianxue pointed at the enlightenment pills and asked directly. Old Bai, Old Xia, Elder Luo, 5 prodigies, Leng Wufeng, Bloodthirsty Mantis and Master, you each take 2, and the remaining 28 are all for the dog. I originally kept this thing to feed it. Hearing Yi Feng's way of squandering money, even though Luo Qianxue had been mentally prepared, she was still angry. Each of them only had 2, and a dog ate 28? And what do you mean it was originally prepared for the dog? They are fighting with the dog for the pills? Huh. After a long breath, Luo Qianxue tried to suppress the anger in her heart and pointed at the 59-leaf soul-returning grass and asked, "Where are these 9-leaf soul-returning grasses?" Soak your feet. Whether it's the brothers or the elders, they are also very tired every day. Soaking your feet with the 9-leaf soul-returning grass, before going to bed at night is definitely a kind of enjoyment. The old rules, you each take 2 9-leaf soul-returning grasses, and I'll use the remaining 28 to give the dog a bath. Pung. Hearing the last sentence, Luo Qianxue finally couldn't suppress the anger in her heart. The floor tiles under her feet shattered instantly, and the violent spiritual power surrounded her body, which showed that she had reached the edge of exploding. "Master, why don't you put all these into the secret realm?" Looking at Luo Qianxue, who might explode at any time, Yifeng also hurriedly made suggestions, thinking in his heart, "It seems that I still overestimated the psychological endurance of the master." "No need. I think your distribution method is very good." Hearing Yifeng's proposal, Luo Qianxue's irritable aura instantly dissipated. She looked at Yifeng with a smile and continued to ask, "Where are these 3 golden silkworm star shining stones?" "This golden silkworm star shining stone is just a spiritual ore used to forge weapons. I want to use it to forge some knives, which are usually used in our sect's back kitchen, and some hoes. A sect must have a spiritual herb garden, right?" Seeing that Luo Qianxue had recovered a little, Yifeng continued to talk about his thoughts. "Knife for cutting vegetables? Hoe for digging soil? Endure. I endure." Luo Qianxue tried to suppress the anger in her heart, but when she thought that the golden silkworm star shining stone that was enough to resist the thunder tribulation had to be forged into these daily tools, her blood pressure continued to rise. She thought she should be able to withstand Yifeng's squandering behavior, but now it seems that she feels that she overestimated herself and underestimated Yifeng's crazy squandering mentality. What about the last 100 drops of goblin blood? This is the last level, Luo Qianxue keeps encouraging herself, she believes she can handle it. We can use these 100 drops of goblin blood. Just when Yifeng was thinking about using the goblin blood to water the flowers, he found that Luo Qianxue was staring at him with a terrifying look, which made him hold back what he wanted to say next. This is the first time that Master has tried to lose money, and his psychological endurance is still too poor. Take it slowly. Thinking of this, Yifeng looked at Luo Qianxue, who was staring at him, and smiled. We can use these 100 drops of great goblin blood as a sect reward. For example, if the sect disciples have made a great breakthrough in their realm, or if the sect elders have made great contributions to the sect, etc., they can all get a certain amount of great goblin blood. What do you think, Master? Hearing Yifeng's way of using the great goblin blood, Luo Qianxue finally breathed a sigh of relief, and her eyes were much kinder when she looked at him again. Okay, let's do it as you say. Luo Qianxue did not argue with Yifeng about the way to squander the enlightenment pill, 9-leaf soul-returning grass, and golden silkworm star shining stone. She felt that Yifeng had given her a lot of face by making reasonable use of the last great goblin blood. She was not stupid either. Just now, she clearly felt that Yifeng had changed the way to squander the great goblin blood. Old Bai, notify everyone to come to the sect hall immediately. Luo Qianxue sent a telepathic message to Old Bai, who was not far from the sect hall, and then looked at Yifeng and asked, Huang Xiaofei and Meng Tongyu, you seem to have been together for several days. Tell me, how did you squander money again? Knowing that Yifeng would squander some good things every day, Luo Qianxue couldn't hold back her fanatical gossip heart. It's not that squandering. That 9-pattern blood ginseng pill, I let them eat until they were full and vomited. I'm afraid they will definitely not eat it again in the short term. Hearing this, Luo Qianxue did not react much. Since she had the recipe, even if it was difficult to refine the 9-pattern one, it was just that the efficacy was a little worse. But after all, it was all blood ginseng pills, so eating until she was full and vomited was nothing. I have a heaven-level top-grade technique, and I let Huang Xiaofei use it as toilet paper when he went to the toilet. Hearing this, Luo Qianxue's mouth finally twitched, and the look in her eyes when she looked at Yi Feng rekindled her anger. Heaven-level top-grade technique, that is a heaven-level top-grade technique. Even the Xingji sect, which has been passed down for tens of thousands of years, only has one copy. You actually used it as toilet paper? Huh. After taking a deep breath, Luo Qianxue quickly calmed down her mentality. After all, heaven-level top-grade techniques are only good things in Xiantian continent. If you take them to the upper realm, they are almost garbage. By the way, I have a fighting saint body. Huang Xiaofei was a cowardly playboy before. I thought he was a spendthrift, so I gave it to him. Although I was a spendthrift when I gave it to him, but later for some reason, the boy got wise and didn't bury the fighting saint body. What? Hearing the words fighting saint body, Luo Qianxue's face finally changed, and she stared at Yi Feng, who had a calm face, and exclaimed. Impossible. It's definitely not the fighting saint body I know. Thinking of the fighting madman in the upper realm who gave countless major forces a headache, especially since she had seen the fighting madman challenge her master with her own eyes, what impressed her most was the opponent's unyielding fighting spirit. Even though his legs and right arm were completely broken, the only remaining left hand still held the bloody sword to support himself and never fell down. Endless fighting spirit burned in his eyes, like a god of war who would never fall. With the dazzling golden light shining all over his body, the broken legs and right arm were all restored in a very short time, bursting out with even more terrifying power. Even though her master was one realm higher than the opponent, as the battle continued, he was at a disadvantage in the end, and was finally defeated by the opponent. Unyielding fighting spirit. The more you fight, the braver you become. Cross-level battle. Just witnessing that battle, even if you live again, the shadow of that fighting madman still affects Luo Qianxue. Chapter 73, Building Relationships? Xiaofei, that kid is sick. What's impossible? Hearing what Luo Qianxue said, Yi Feng also found Luo Qianxue's abnormality. Nothing. By the way, what's so powerful about this fighting saint body you mentioned? After Luo Qianxue calmed down, she looked at Yi Feng and continued to ask. Nothing powerful about it. You just don't need to practice any skills or martial arts, you can get stronger as long as you keep fighting. You can also comprehend the martial arts that suit you best in battle. That's right. This physique will become more courageous the longer it fights. The longer the battle lasts and the more serious the injuries, the more powerful it can burst out. After thinking for a while, Yi Feng simply explained the situation of the fighting saint body. Stunned. After hearing what Yi Feng said, Luo Qianxue was stunned. Exactly the same. The situation Yi Feng described was exactly the same as the situation of the fighting madman she saw in the upper realm. Two fighting madmen. As long as Huang Xiaofei didn't give up halfway, he would definitely be able to ascend to the upper realm in the future. By then, there would be two fighting madmen in the upper realm. If the fighting madman knew about Huang Xiaofei's existence, he might even accept him as his apprentice. Yi Feng, the fighting saint body is far from being as simple as you think. You have no idea how powerful the fighting saint body is. Although you gave it to him, if possible, try to build a good relationship with Huang Xiaofei. His future achievements will be extremely terrifying even if he reaches the upper realm. Luo Qianxue was no longer in the mood to scold Yi Feng for squandering such a physique. She only wanted Yi Feng to build a good relationship with the other party, which would be considered as hugging the big leg of a future big boss. What relationship do you want to build? I wish I could stay away from that kid. What about working hard to cultivate? He also wants to make the Chamber of Commerce the best Chamber of Commerce. When the time comes, he will be a sharp blade in my hand. As long as I give an order, he will come to my side with all the power of the Chamber of Commerce at the first time. Master, do you think he is sick? Yi Feng complained with a look of difficulty at this time. Versailles. Too much Versailles. Thinking that he had asked Yi Feng to build a good relationship with others just now, who would have thought that his prodigal disciple had already accepted the other party as his younger brother? You just thought of the first level, and others have already stood at the atmosphere. Luo Qianxue suddenly felt so tired at this moment. It was hard for her to be a master. Master, everyone is here. At this time, Bai Tianheng's voice sounded from outside, and soon everyone walked into the main hall of the sect. Master, you suddenly summoned all of us. Is there something wrong? Bai Tianheng looked at Luo Qianxue, who looked a little bit wrong, and asked. Master, I suddenly want to go to the toilet. I'll leave the rest to you. Yi Feng saw Luo Qianxue's eyes suddenly looking at him, and he found an excuse and ran out of the sect hall quickly. If he didn't get away, the work of the prodigal would be his business again. He must let Luo Qianxue feel the charm of the prodigal in person. Looking at Yi Feng, who ran out directly, Luo Qianxue didn't have any temper at all. It was useless to scold him, and she couldn't bear to beat him. After all, he was her personal disciple, and he still thought of her in everything. What could she do? There is only one thing for calling you all here today, and that is to prodigal. Hearing Luo Qianxue's words, everyone was stunned, except for the little yellow dog sleeping on the ground, who suddenly opened his eyes and stood up, with an extremely human excitement in his eyes. It's worthy of being the dog raised by that prodigal son, a real prodigal dog. Seeing the strangeness of the little yellow dog, Luo Qianxue also smiled helplessly. A group of them were not as good as a dog in terms of prodigality. Thinking of this, Luo Qianxue also got excited. If a dog can be so prodigal, why shouldn't they be prodigal? Anyway, Yi Feng will pay for it. At this moment, Luo Qianxue's mentality changed again, and she didn't even notice it. Did you see the 50 enlightenment pills? I don't need to say more about the effect of this pill. Everyone go and take 2. After saying that, Luo Qianxue was the first to walk over and take away 2 enlightenment pills. After seeing this, the others looked at each other and walked forward to take away their own 2 enlightenment pills. Master, are you giving us sect benefits? How are the remaining 28 pills distributed? Bai Tianheng looked at the remaining 28 enlightenment pills and asked, wondering if he could get 2 more. He knew that the enlightenment pill was a good thing. How do you distribute them? The remaining enlightenment pills are for the little yellow dog. Luo Qianxue looked at Bai Tianheng and explained with a smile. Woof woof woof, the little yellow dog seemed to understand human words. After hearing what Luo Qianxue said, he excitedly called out a few times and ran directly to the pills to eat them. In less than 10 seconds, the little yellow dog ate all 28 enlightenment pills, then closed his eyes and lay on the ground, immersed in the state of enlightenment. A yellow sword embryo gradually emerged from the sky above the little yellow dog's head, and at the same time, the state of mind of Huang Quan Sword Heart also burst out, instantly sweeping the entire sect hall. Numb. At this time everyone looked at the little yellow dog who was enlightened and practicing Huang Quan Sword Heart, and they were all numb. A dog was actually enlightening Huang Quan Sword Heart. Can you believe it? Stop looking. 9-leaf soul returning grass, 2 for each person, and the rest are for the little yellow dog. But listen carefully, the 2 9-leaf soul returning grasses you receive can only be used for foot bathing, 1 tonight and 1 tomorrow night. Anyone who dares to disobey will never get any treasures from the sect in the future. After saying that, Luo Qianxue took the lead again and took away 2 9-leaf soul returning grasses. These 100 drops of the great goblin blood will be the sect's reward item. Anyone who makes a contribution to the sect can get this great goblin blood. I will formulate a series of reward methods in the next 2 days. As he said that, Luo Qianxue directly collected the 100 drops of the purple thunder mad lion great goblin blood. As for these 3 golden silkworm star shining stones, at this point, Luo Qianxue suddenly stopped. She didn't want to discourage everyone anymore. She was going to take 3 pieces of golden silkworm star stones and find someone to make knives, hoes, etc. When Luo Qianxue left the sect hall with the golden silkworm star stones, everyone became excited. Although there were only 2 enlightenment pills, they were extremely precious to them. They could totally accept soaking their feet in the 9-leaf soul-returning grass. If they missed this opportunity, they would never encounter such luxurious foot-washing water in their lifetime. The reaction of the crowd was far beyond Luo Qianxue's expectations. I'm afraid that Luo Qianxue was the only one in the entire sect who found it difficult to accept Yifeng's wasteful behavior. The most excited person among the crowd was Luo Kai. His goal this time was the blood of the great fairy. Now he finally saw the hope of getting it. How could he not be excited? I hope she won't go crazy knowing my idea. Luo Qianxue left the sect with 3 golden silkworm star stones, ready to ask her best friend to help her refine them. Even though her best friend was only a 7th grade weapon refiner, it would not be a big problem to make some ordinary knives, hoes, etc. Chapter 74 Master, can you let your disciple save some trouble? Half a day later, Luo Qianxue came to Zifeng City. Thinking back to the last time she brought Ling Wufeng to buy some spiritual herbs for refining pills, she ended up being called a big enemy by Yifeng at the auction house. She was instantly upset. If her best friend hadn't been here, she would never come here again. Hey, what wind is blowing to our Luo sect master? Seeing Luo Qianxue walking into the blacksmith shop, a woman in black forging clothes also put down the heavy hammer in her hand, looked at Luo Qianxue and laughed and teased. Xiao Xiao, this time I came here to ask you to help me make something that the sect needs. Luo Qianxue ignored the other party's teasing and said directly. I don't know when you can change your cold character. I dare say that in this world, except for me and your father, no one can tolerate your character. Chu Xiaoxiao was also helpless about her cold-hearted best friend, but who made her hot-tempered and wanted to melt this iceberg. No. And my direct disciple can also bear it. Hearing this, Luo Qianxue suddenly thought of Yifeng's figure. Thinking of the promise he made to her before and everything he did for the sect, she couldn't help but smile. Direct disciple? And she actually smiled when talking about the direct disciple? Seeing Luo Qianxue, who didn't realize it at this time, Chu Xiaoxiao was stunned. She has known Luo Qianxue for nearly 10 years, and she knows what kind of person she is. If anyone tells her that Luo Qianxue has no secret relationship with the disciple, she will not believe it even if she is beaten to death. Qianxue, isn't Ling Wufeng, the one you brought to buy spiritual herbs last time, just an ordinary disciple of the sect? When did you suddenly have a disciple? You didn't tell me about such a big thing at the first time. Chu Xiaoxiao pretended to be angry and looked at Luo Qianxue and questioned her. You didn't ask me either. Okay, don't talk about my disciple all the time. He is a pure prodigal son. Do you have time now? Help me make some knives needed for the sect's kitchen and hose for the spiritual herb garden. Luo Qianxue didn't know why, but after feeling that Chu Xiaoxiao was extremely concerned about Yifeng, she didn't want to say a word to him. Seeing Luo Qianxue looking a little strange, Chu Xiaoxiao shook her head and said, My grandfather is here and is going to make an extraordinary weapon, so he needs my help. I'm afraid I won't have time in 3 days. I have time. Isn't it just making some ordinary knives, hoes, and other iron tools? At this time, a burly white-haired old man walked out of the inner door of the blacksmith shop, and his eyes were full of kindness when he looked at Luo Qianxue. Hello, Grandpa Chu. After seeing Chu Hongshan, Luo Qianxue also shouted respectfully. Good. Good. Qianxue, are those 5 old men still healthy these years? Chu Hongshan asked, while looking at Luo Qianxue and laughing. Hearing this, Luo Qianxue smiled bitterly and said, Grandpa Chu, the 5 ancestors are all in good health. Xiao Xiao, help Qianxue make some knives, hoes, and other iron tools first. Anyway, there is not much else in our shop, just ordinary iron ore, and it doesn't take long to make those. Hearing Chu Hongshan's words, Luo Qianxue hurriedly said, Grandpa Chu, although they are some ordinary iron tools, I have a small request here, that is, I have a little spiritual ore that I want to mix in. What's the big deal, just take it out, I'll let Xiao Xiao help you make it. Chu Hongshan was also full of love for Luo Qianxue. After all, his granddaughter had played with them for nearly 10 years, and he had watched Luo Qianxue grow up, and there was no difference between him and his own granddaughter. 3 golden lights suddenly flashed from Luo Qianxue's hands. When Chu Hongshan and Chu Xiaoxiao stared at the 3 golden silkworm star stones in her hands with wide eyes, Luo Qianxue felt helpless. She didn't want to squander the money, but the things belonged to her apprentice, and if the apprentice insisted on squandering the money, what could she, as their master, do? Luo Qianxue, do you mean to mix these 3 pieces of golden silkworm star stones into iron tools, use knives melted with golden silkworm star stones to kill chickens and ducks in the back kitchen of the sect, and use hoes melted with golden silkworm star stones to cultivate the spiritual grass garden? Chu Xiaoxiao, who reacted, still looked at Luo Qianxue with an unbelievable look and asked. That's right. Looking at her bestie, whose pupils were wide open again, Luo Qianxue suddenly had a strange feeling. This feeling is very strange. I didn't do anything, why do I feel so good? Is this the happiness brought by losing money? Luo Qianxue thought with doubts at this time. Grandpa, what are you going to do? Just when Luo Qianxue was confused, Chu Xiaoxiao's anxious voice pulled her back. Looking at Chu Hongshan, who was held tightly by Chu Xiaoxiao and the kitchen knife in the other party's hand, Luo Qianxue was stunned. What's going on? Is he going to chop me? Thinking of this, especially seeing Chu Hongshan's angry eyes, Luo Qianxue was frightened and took 2 steps back. From childhood to adulthood, this was the first time she saw Chu Hongshan's terrifying side. Don't stop me. I don't want to go to Xingji sect and kill those 5 old bastards. This is the sect saint girl, they carefully taught. That's the golden silkworm star shine stone, a spiritual ore that is hard to come by even in the heavenly Tao battlefield. Just these 3 pieces of golden silkworm star shine stone are enough to cause many tribulation crossing monks to fight and bleed like a river, but she actually mixed such precious golden silkworm star shine stone into knives and hoes. I have lived for so long and have never seen such a waste of money. Hearing Chu Hongshan's words, Luo Qianxue finally understood and explained with a bitter smile, Grandpa Chu, it's useless even if you question the 5 great ancestors about this matter, because these 3 pieces of golden silkworm star shine stone were given to me by the honorary elder of Xingji sect, and I did this at the order of the other party. Boom. At this moment, a terrifying demonic pressure descended, and then, Yi Feng, full of anger, rushed into the blacksmith shop and shouted, Who dares to hurt my master? Master, don't be afraid, my disciple is here to save you. Seeing that Luo Qianxue was not injured, Yi Feng was relieved, and seeing the old man holding a kitchen knife opposite, Yi Feng took a step forward and blocked in front of Luo Qianxue and said, Master, can you let your disciple save your worries? Fortunately, I was bored in this sect and asked Xiaoxue to take me to this Xifeng city for a stroll. Otherwise, what would I do if something happened to you? Stupid. At this time, Luo Qianxue, Chu Xiaoxiao and Chu Hongshan in the blacksmith shop were all stupid in place. Chapter 75 The Madman Who Made Yi Feng Feel Trembling. Master is in trouble, my eldest disciple is really going to help. Looking at Yi Feng, who was blocking her, Luo Qianshua's heart was filled with warmth. It was her blessing to receive such a disciple. Yi Feng, in fact, it's not you, but the current situation still needs to be explained clearly. Before Luo Qianshua finished speaking, Yi Feng interrupted and said to the blood-sucking mantis beside him, "Send Master out of the blacksmith shop. I don't want Master to bleed." Boom. Before Luo Qianshua could react, she was pushed out of the blacksmith shop by an irresistible force. She tried to enter the blacksmith shop, but found that she was blocked by a huge demonic force, which made her anxious. She was not worried about Chu Xiaoxiao and Chu Hongshan, but worried about her precious apprentice. Although the blood-sucking mantis survived 2 heavenly thunder tribulations, Chu Hongshan was a big man who survived 5 heavenly thunder tribulations and reached the peak of the 9th level of the tribulation realm. And there was blood, it was not certain who would bleed. In the blacksmith shop, Yi Feng pulled a chair over and sat down. He looked at Chu Hongshan opposite him arrogantly and sneered, "You old immortal dared to steal my master's things, and even wanted to hurt my master. Who gave you the courage? Who are you calling an old immortal?" Hearing this, Chu Xiaoxiao's temper instantly rose, and she pointed at Yi Feng and wanted to scold him, but was stopped by Chu Hongshan on the side. "Not bad, really good." Chu Hongshan was not angry at all. He looked at the arrogant Yi Feng with full admiration. "Grandpa, he scolded you like this, and you actually praised him." Chu Xiaoxiao on the side was so angry that she didn't know what to say when she heard her grandfather's words. "If you can also get such a good disciple in the future, who can stand in front of you regardless of his own safety when encountering danger, I will be happy even if he scolds me." Chu Hongshan looked at Chu Xiaoxiao with an angry face and explained with a smile. Hearing this, Chu Xiaoxiao finally reacted. Although the arrogant guy opposite made her extremely unhappy, she thought that the other party was her best friend's direct disciple. She was also happy for her best friend to have such a direct disciple. Thinking of this, Chu Xiaoxiao's anger also subsided instantly, and she didn't feel so disgusted when she looked at Yi Feng again. "Little guy, I admit that the transformed monster beside you is very strong, but it should also be very clear that if it really fights, it is not my opponent." Chu Hongshan looked at Yi Feng and said curiously. He was very curious about where the other party's confidence came from. Hearing this, the blood-sucking mantis smiled, and even looked at Chu Hongshan with a hint of gloating. It really wanted to tell the other party that if it beat him up, the master might let him go if he was happy, but if it really provoked the great terror in golden armor, you would be dead. "Do you dare to make a bet? You attack me with all your strength, but you can't hurt me at all?" Yi Feng looked at the other party and said provocatively. Oh, Chu Hongshan became more interested after hearing this. He took a step forward and punched Yi Feng with his right fist, which contained terrifying brute force. As a weapon refiner and a physical cultivator, he had already reached a terrifying level of control over his physical strength. He was confident that he could stop this punch 1 centimeter away from Yi Feng's forehead. 3 meters. 2 meters. 1 meter. When Chu Hongshan's right fist was less than 1 meter away from Yi Feng, a suffocating and terrifying pressure instantly enveloped the entire blacksmith shop, and Chu Hongshan instantly stopped in place. "Ha ha ha. It's finally my turn this time." As a space crack appeared out of thin air in everyone's sight, a one-armed man with a crazy look and cold eyes walked out of it. Manic. Bloodthirsty. Crazy. When everyone saw the one-armed man walking out of the space crack, an inexplicable uneasiness instantly filled everyone's heart. One-armed. Thin body. Cold face. The right hand holding the blood-red rapier was shaking constantly. His crazy eyes kept scanning the people in the blacksmith shop. If I were to describe him in one word, it would be madman. "My lord, should we kill all the people in the city immediately?" After scanning for a long time, the one-armed man knelt on one knee towards Yi Feng, asking with endless excitement in his voice. Boom, hearing this, let alone others, even Yi Feng trembled all over. Are you here to protect me, or to massacre the city? No one, whether it was Yi Feng or the others, doubted what the one-armed man had just said. There was no reason, it was just an inexplicable intuition. As long as Yi Feng nodded slightly, the other party would definitely massacre the city directly. You want to hurt my lord? Don't worry, I won't kill you directly. I will cut off your flesh piece by piece. I will make you into the most perfect skeleton, leaving only a head, so that you can eat all your flesh bit by bit. Seeing that Yi Feng did not give an order, the one-armed man turned his head to look at Chu Hongshan, showing an excited look, and said something that made everyone shudder. Damn. This kind of lunatic is also in the prodigal guards? Yi Feng was also scared. He never thought that there was such a lunatic in the prodigal guards. No. We are not enemies. I am your master's best friend and he is my grandfather. We have no intention of hurting your master. This is all a misunderstanding. If you don't believe me, you can go ask your master. At this moment, even Chu Xiaoxiao, who has a hot temper and is carefree, has been scared to tears. Looking at the madman opposite, she is afraid that if she explains a second late, the other party will directly attack her grandfather. Yi Feng was also stunned when he heard this. Looking at Chu Xiaoxiao who was frightened and crying, Yi Feng thought for a while and said directly to the blood-sucking mantis beside him, "Go out and ask master if it is true. Remember not to let master in." "Yes, master." The blood-sucking mantis turned and walked out of the blacksmith shop. At this time its legs were constantly trembling, and its eyes were full of endless fear. If it had not met the righteous golden-armored man at the beginning, but the madman in front of it, thinking of this, it didn't even dare to think about it anymore. Now it can only be thankful that it didn't meet this terrifying madman at the beginning. "Master, the woman inside said that she was your best friend, and they had no ill will towards you before. Is it true?" Hearing the voice and seeing the blood-sucking mantis in white clothes coming out of the blacksmith shop, Luo Qianxue looked puzzled, because she found that the blood-sucking mantis's legs were shaking constantly, and her face was extremely abnormal, as if it had encountered something extremely terrifying. Chapter 76 The Man with a Broken Arm Who Was Courting Death. Yi Feng was angry. What happened inside? You are not a match for Grandpa Chu, right? Looking at the extremely abnormal blood-sucking mantis, Luo Qianxue asked directly, but the word Grandpa Chu was also an answer. "Master, you'd better not know, otherwise I'm afraid you will have nightmares at night." The blood-sucking mantis was extremely intelligent, so it naturally got the answer it wanted from the three words, Grandpa Chu. After saying this sentence that made Luo Qianxue confused, it turned around and walked into the blacksmith shop again. "Master, the sect master called this old man Grandpa Chu. We may have really misunderstood." Buzz. Just as the blood-sucking mantis finished speaking, it found that the one-armed man looked at him directly with an extremely cold look. At this moment, it was like being trapped in an ice cave, and its whole body trembled uncontrollably. "My lord, whether it is a misunderstanding or not, he dared to attack you, he deserves to die." It was not easy to come out, but now there was not even a drop of blood. The one-armed man stood up and looked at Yi Feng unwillingly to persuade him. Hearing this, Yi Feng's face gradually became ugly. He felt that the prodigal guard in front of him had a threat to him. System, what should I do if the members of the prodigal guard are not honest? Also, what kind of existence is the prodigal guard? Yi Feng asked the system directly at this time. Ding. Kill without mercy. Ding. The system cannot explain the situation of the prodigal guard to the host. As the system's voice sounded, an inexplicable force emerged from his body. At this moment, he felt that everything about the other party was under his control, and he could easily kill the prodigal guard member in front of him. Are you teaching me how to do things? Peng, as Yifeng finished speaking, the one-armed man knelt on his knees, and spider-web-like cracks appeared on the ground, extending 4 or 5 meters around. My lord, I dare not. After feeling the power that controlled his life and death, the one-armed man hurriedly explained to Yifeng in panic. I'll give you a chance to live. Follow me. With that, Yifeng walked directly to the inner door of the blacksmith shop. Entering the inner door room, Yifeng looked at the one-armed man who followed him in and asked directly, Tell me about the situation of the prodigal guard. My lord, there are only 10 members of the prodigal guard at present. To become a member of the prodigal guard, you need to go through layers of selection, and the assessment content is also varied. Not only that, even if you become a member of the prodigal guard, you must continue to take the assessment every period of time. If you fail the assessment, you will be directly expelled from the prodigal guard. And all members of the prodigal guard have only one mission, to protect my lord, even at the cost of your own life. The man with a broken arm didn't know why Yifeng asked such a question, but he still told all the information he knew. Today I will give you a chance. If you dare to disobey my orders next time, I will directly wipe you out. Go back. Peng. Hearing Yifeng's words, the man with a broken arm knelt on the ground again to thank Yifeng for not killing him, and then he directly tore open a space crack and walked in. Interesting, I thought the prodigal guards were all about that golden-armored strong man, but now it seems that each member of the prodigal guards has a different personality, which makes it much more interesting. Thinking of this, Yifeng also walked out of the inner room directly. After all, there was a misunderstanding outside that needed to be resolved. Seeing that only Yifeng walked out of the inner room, Chu Hongshan and Chu Xiaoxiao also breathed a sigh of relief. It was really that crazy one-armed man who gave them too much psychological pressure. However, when Chu Hongshan and Chu Xiaoxiao saw Yifeng directly take out 5 pieces of golden silkworm star shine stones and put them on the forging table beside them, they were directly stunned and didn't understand what Yifeng meant. You too, just now it was all a misunderstanding. As long as you forget everything just now, these 5 pieces of golden silkworm star shine stones will all be yours. No matter what the relationship between the two and Luo Qianxue is, as long as they are not blood relatives, such as the little sister Luo Yaoyao, Yifeng really won't spoil them too much, and if you want to resolve the previous misunderstanding, then the prodigal will do. Who are you? Why do you want to get close to Qianxue? What is your purpose? If you don't explain clearly, I will definitely tell her what happened before. Before Chu Hongshan could speak, Chu Xiaoxiao spoke first. Yifeng was really too abnormal, which made her doubt the other party's purpose of getting close to her best friend. Chu Hongshan shook his head when he heard this, realizing that his granddaughter was still too young. Grandpa, what are you doing? However, when Chu Xiaoxiao saw that her grandfather had quietly walked over and put away the 5 golden silkworm star stones, she shouted in a hurry. No matter who he is, even if you want to harm Qianxue, he won't hurt Qianxue. How can I have such a stupid granddaughter like you? Remember, we have just been discussing how to forge those knives and hoes. Remember? Hearing Chu Xiaoxiao's shout, Chu Hongshan scolded directly with a stern look on his face. But Chu Xiaoxiao wanted to argue more, but Chu Hongshan's eyes directly held back the rest of the words. Grandpa, I know what to do. Chu Xiaoxiao said unwillingly. Stinky boy, don't think you can eat me like this. Next, I will also go to Qianxue's sect. I will keep an eye on you every day. I don't believe that I can't find your secret. I will never let you hurt Qianxue. Staring at Yifeng, Chu Xiaoxiao also made a decision. Peng. Luo Qianxue, who had been trying outside, found that the blood-sucking mantis's demonic power had finally disappeared. She pushed open the door of the blacksmith shop and rushed in. Seeing that everyone inside was safe and sound, she breathed a sigh of relief. In just a moment, she was almost dying of anxiety outside. What were you doing just now? Luo Qianxue looked around, and finally set her eyes on her restless prodigal apprentice, and asked. Master, misunderstanding, it was all misunderstanding just now. It's all Xiaoxue's fault. He said he sensed that you were in danger, and then what happened just now happened. Well, if there's nothing else, I'll leave first. Seeing Luo Qianxue staring at him, Yi Feng explained awkwardly and quickly left the blacksmith shop with the blood-sucking mantis. Qianxue, you're a good disciple. Looking at Yi Feng and the blood-sucking mantis leaving, Chu Hongshan was also a little envious. No matter who Yi Feng was or what secrets he had, if there was such a person guarding his granddaughter, he would wake up with joy even in his dreams. Chapter 77 There are more and more elders in the sect. Luo Qianxue is annoyed. By the way, you said before that these 3 golden silkworm star shining stones were given to you by the honorary elder of Xingji sect. How come I didn't know that there was such an elder in Xingji sect? Chu Hongshan changed the subject directly to avoid Luo Qianxue asking him what happened just now. By asking this question, Chu Hongshan also wanted to take the opportunity to learn more about the situation. He was very curious why Yi Feng had so many golden silkworm star shining stones in his hand. This, in fact, my direct disciple is the honorary elder of Xingji sect, and is recognized by the 5 great ancestors. The 3 golden silkworm star stones in my hand were also given to me by him. Hearing this, Chu Hongshan and Chu Xiaoxiao looked at each other, their eyes full of confusion. Yi Feng is your direct disciple. You are the daughter of Luo Wuming, the leader of Xingji sect, and the saint of Xingji sect. And your direct disciple is now the honorary elder of Xingji sect. Are you so good at playing? Qianxue, then don't you have to call him Elder Yi? Chu Xiaoxiao asked Luo Qianxue with his eyes wide open. Smile bitterly. Hearing Chu Xiaoxiao's question, Luo Qianxue also smiled bitterly. Not only is he Elder Yi, but you will go crazy if you call him Grandmaster? Impossible. However, Chu Hongshan frowned and said, I know those 5 old guys very well. They can't do such a ridiculous thing. Is there something special about your direct disciple? Prodigal. Very prodigal. Extremely prodigal. After hearing Luo Qianxue's 3 descriptions that kept reinforcing one thing, Chu Hongshan and Chu Xiaoxiao both had a big question mark on their foreheads. How could a prodigal become an honorary elder? He contributed 100 million top-grade spirit crystals to Xingji sect, and even boasted that Xingji sect would permanently open the protective formation. If it ran out, he would continue to give. If the sect didn't lose money, he wouldn't have the chance to lose money. As for the enhanced 9-star sword formation that Yi Feng gave to Xingji sect, it was already a secret of the sect. Even if the relationship was good, she would definitely not tell it at this time. I see. Although 100 million top-grade spirit stones are nothing to your Xingji sect, it is also a big sum. Just when Chu Hongshan was talking to himself, Chu Xiaoxiao on the side suddenly pulled his clothes and said, Grandpa, it's not 100 million top-grade spirit stones, it's 100 million top-grade spirit crystals, it's spirit crystals. Stupid. After hearing Chu Xiaoxiao's emphasis on spirit crystals, Chu Hongshan was stunned on the spot. 100 million top-grade spirit crystals. 100 million top-grade spirit crystals, if they are all gone, he will continue to give. Even the golden silkworm star shine stone was used to squander the family in such a mad and wasteful way. Thinking of this, Chu Hongshan's eyes flashed with a gleam of light, and he looked at Luo Qianxue and said directly, Qianxue, Grandpa Chu has treated you like his own granddaughter since you were a child. Now that Grandpa Chu is old, he wants to go to your sect, to be an elder. You won't refuse, right? Chu Hongshan's idea is very simple. His weapon refining has been stagnant for 10 years. If he wants to break through the current bottleneck, he needs huge spiritual stones and precious spiritual mines. After all, whether it is an alchemist, a weapon refiner, or a talisman master, it is extremely expensive. Now that he knows some of Yi Feng's situation, he feels that this is an opportunity. After hearing Chu Hongshan's words, Luo Qianxue also revealed a bitter smile. Here they come again. The sect is coming again. Although they are not disciples, it is not a big deal to increase the number of sect elders in such a continuous manner. Qianxue, you see that your sect has just been established not long ago. I am afraid that, except for Bai Tianheng, there is no strong man who can keep the place. Although I am going there for retirement, if your sect has something wrong, the connections accumulated by Grandpa Chu over the years can still play a role. Seeing that Luo Qianxue didn't react, Chu Hongshan gritted his teeth and directly bet on his most important chip. A top-level 9th-grade weapon refiner, the connections accumulated over 100 years are extremely terrifying. Grandpa Chu, since you want to come, then come. However, if the sect needs to refine weapons in the future, I will trouble you. One is coming, two are coming. Luo Qianxue also knew that Chu Hongshan's purpose of coming to the sect was definitely related to Yi Feng. She was now desperate. Anyway, the sect would not be quiet, so she would just see what her prodigal disciple could do to the sect. Chu Xiaoxiao, who was standing by, laughed after a moment of daze. She was originally thinking about what kind of excuse to find to join Luo Qianxue's sect. Now that her grandfather has joined the sect, she naturally has to follow him. Who are those people? How dare they release spiritual power fluctuations so recklessly? Aren't they afraid of provoking people they can't afford to offend? You, a third-level Qidong realm rubbish, know nothing. Didn't you see the words Jingyue printed on their robes? These are people from Jingyue Villa, and they are definitely the top group of strong men in the villa. I really don't know who provoked Jingyue Villa and made all the strong men in Jingyue Villa come out in full force. It is said that Zhang Shufeng, the owner of Jingyue Villa, successfully survived the first Heavenly Dao Thunder tribulation some time ago. His strength far exceeds that of the average 9th-level peak strong men in the crossing tribulation realm. I really don't know who provoked him. Countless people in Tufeng City looked at the dozens of Jingyue Villa strong men crossing the town in such a domineering way in the sky, and they all began to discuss in a low voice. Full speed ahead. If nothing goes wrong, we will catch up with the person who killed my son tomorrow morning. I will kill him no matter who he is. Zhao Shufeng shouted at all the strong men in the villa with murderous intent. Xiaoxue, so boring. This broken town is not interesting at all. After leaving the blacksmith shop, Yi Feng wandered around Zifeng City for a while and felt that it was not as interesting as Tiandao City. At least there were many entertainment technology products that he was familiar with. Hearing this, the blood-sucking mantis also smiled bitterly, because it really didn't know how to respond to this. Whether it is human or monster, let alone comfortable sleep every day, after all, cultivators and monsters don't actually need to sleep, and they even use their sleep time to practice. Even so, they feel that one day is not enough. Who would say it's boring? If you are bored, you should practice. You don't practice all day, and your mind is full of how to lose money. How can I respond to you? Master, there is a free trade zone in the north of the city. Why don't we go there and take a look? Maybe we can encounter some good things. Not knowing how to respond, the blood-sucking mantis can only respond hard. After seeing the madman who appeared before, it was really worried that if it didn't perform well, Yi Feng would get that madman out to punish itself. Chapter 78. This young master, did I sell at a loss? How do you know? Hearing this, Yi Feng also looked at the blood-sucking mantis with a puzzled look. You know, the two of them have been wandering around for a long time, but they have been in the south and west districts of the city. Master, during the time you were away, I brought Ling Wufeng here to buy a batch of spiritual herbs. The blood-sucking mantis hurriedly explained. I see. Then let's go and have a look. It doesn't matter whether we can find a bargain or not. What matters is whether we can find a chance to lose money. Speaking of this, Yifeng walked directly towards the north of the city. Come and have a look. We just received a batch of goods. All of them were obtained from the ruins of the Tiandao battlefield. There are definitely treasures you want. There are only 13 spiritual herbs left from the third Tiandao battlefield. If you miss them, you will really miss them. All the unnamed skills and martial arts secrets are produced in the Tiandao battlefield. If you are confident in yourself, you can come and have a look. As soon as he arrived in the area near the city gate in the north of the city, Yifeng heard the noisy hawking. A palm-sized shabby furnace. Only half of the green sword was left. An unknown spiritual herb in a special box that can prevent the release of spiritual energy. A shabby Taoist robe full of stains. Coming to the stall that had just received a batch of goods from the ruins of the Tiandao battlefield, looking at these tattered things, Yifeng felt that even if he was a spendthrift, he would never buy these things. The second stall. The third stall. When Yifeng came to the 18th stall, he stopped. Ding. Found the heavenly Tao order. Ding. Issue a random task. Successfully buy the old token containing the heavenly Tao order. If the task is successful, you will be rewarded with 100 prodigal points. If the task fails, 100 prodigal points will be deducted. You can refuse it. Hearing the system prompt sound in his mind, Yifeng's eyes fell directly on a palm-sized and muddy old token on the stall. It looked like a broken token made of ordinary spiritual ore, but it contained an extremely precious heavenly Tao order. If it weren't for the system's reminder, even Yifeng would not have found it. The stall owner was a middle-aged man in a black Taoist robe. At this time, he also noticed that Yifeng's eyes had been staring at the broken token on the stall that had not been sold for 10 days. This made him happy and felt that he had met a sucker today. After all, even if you like it, you can't show it so obviously. These things on the stall are not clearly marked, and he has the final say on how many spiritual stones. But Yifeng didn't care about these at all. He had only one task, which was to successfully buy this broken token with the heavenly Tao order. As for how many spiritual stones it cost, it didn't matter. Stall owner, how much is this token? Yifeng looked at the middle-aged man and asked directly. Young master, you have good taste. This token is the best thing on my stall. In order to get this token, I almost died in the heavenly Tao war. Before the man could finish, Yifeng interrupted him impatiently and asked again, how much is it? Young master is generous, one price, 3 million low-grade spirit stones. The middle-aged man raised 3 fingers and directly said the price. However, when the middle-aged man saw Yifeng frowned after hearing the price, he was a little uneasy and thought that his price was too high. After all, he had been selling this broken token for 10 days, and no one bought it even for 500,000 low-grade spirit stones. Master, although the price is a bit high, it is definitely a good thing. The middle-aged man boasted again at this time, and then he was ready to bargain with Yifeng. Cheap, too cheap. Yifeng casually threw out a space ring containing 3 million low-grade spirit stones, and the blood-sucking mantis was also a sensible mantis, and directly took the token for Yifeng. Bought it now? Shouldn't you bargain? The middle-aged man looked at the space ring in his hand and was completely stunned. He had even prepared for the other party to bargain down the price to 500,000 low-grade spirit stones. Who would have thought that the other party would not even bargain and directly bought it? Uncomfortable. I don't know why, although it was sold at a high price, the middle-aged man felt extremely uncomfortable at this time, always feeling that he had sold it cheaply. Master, the transaction is complete, and the item is yours. I don't want to know what's valuable about this token, but can you tell me how much I lost by selling it? The unwilling middle-aged man looked at Yi Feng and asked directly. Of course, he didn't dare to guarantee whether the other party would answer him. Hearing the stall owner's question, Yi Feng was also stunned. After thinking for a while, he said, how should I put it? This thing is useful to me. Let alone 3 million low-grade spirit stones, even if it is 3 million top-grade spirit stones, I will buy it without saying anything. After that, Yi Feng walked away with the blood-sucking mantis. Puff. When Yi Feng walked away, the middle-aged man felt more and more uncomfortable, and the last mouthful of old blood splashed out directly. It seems that he has earned 2.5 million low-grade spirit stones, but in fact he has lost 3 million top-grade spirit stones. The middle-aged man feels that he can't stand this grievance. Thinking of this, the middle-aged man with a slightly pale face immediately closed the stall, glanced at the direction where Yi Feng left, and a hint of murderous intent appeared in his eyes. Killing intent. Master, we seem to be targeted by that guy. Although they have been hundreds of meters away, the murderous intent released by the other party at this time was still noticed by the blood-sucking mantis. Really? Huh? Seeing the excitement of Yi Feng at this time, the blood-sucking mantis was stunned. Although the other party is just a trash of the 8th level of the Purple Mansion realm, shouldn't he be angry when he is targeted? Why are you still excited? This is the fantasy world in my heart. In this world where the strong prey on the weak, how can people be kind? Finally I met someone who wants to kill me for money, otherwise I, the spendthrift god, would be such a failure. Yi Feng thought excitedly at this time. Let's go quickly, find a restaurant to open a good room, and wait for him to rob. For the first person who dared to kill him and steal his money, Yi Feng prepared a big gift for him. He felt that his identity as a spendthrift god was finally going to be recognized. How could he be worthy of the identity of a spendthrift god if he didn't even have someone who robbed you? So, he planned to give the other party a big gift to show his respect, and then kill him. As for those who wanted to kill him after Li Fei left in the second heavenly battlefield, they didn't want to kill him for money, they just wanted to kill him. Li Xiaoming, are you sure the other party really has 3 million top-grade spirit stones? A sturdy man with a scar on his face followed the middle-aged stall owner to the restaurant where Yi Feng was. Before entering the restaurant, he confirmed with the other party again. Chapter 79. A wealthy man who spent his money was actually despised by the robber. Boss who, he definitely has 3 million top-grade spirit stones, and I even think it's more. Moreover, that broken token must have some secrets. Even if we take it back, it will be a big profit. Li Xiaoming was also tempted at this time, but when he thought about giving 60% of the profits to the other party, he felt a little unwilling. If he hadn't been unable to see through the strength of the young man in white who was following Yi Feng, why would he have looked for someone else for such a good thing? You'd better not lie to me. If you don't get any benefits from this trip, don't blame me for being rude to you. The scarred man glanced at Li Xiaoming coldly, and then strode into the restaurant. Master, this is too much. In the guest room on the second floor, the blood-sucking mantis looked at the 2,000 neatly arranged low-grade spirit crystals, and his face was full of black lines. Forget about being a spendthrift. But others are going to rob you, and even have the intention to kill you. You actually prepared so many low-grade spirit crystals to give to the other party. This mantis is willing to call you the ceiling of the spendthrift world. Too much? If it weren't for the system. You don't understand. Yi Feng wanted to say that he had argued with the system to get this, and he felt that it was too little. After all, it was the first time he was robbed, which was a very memorable thing. This guy is really lucky. He came here to rob, but he ended up taking 2,000 low-grade spirit crystals for free and left happily. This is equivalent to 200,000 top-grade spirit stones. The blood-sucking mantis said with some envy at this time. What are you thinking about? He came to rob me and even wanted to kill me. He took my low-grade spirit crystals and wanted to leave alive? You keep a close eye on him for a while. When he gets these low-grade spirit crystals and is ready to leave, kill him. Hearing the words of the blood-sucking mantis, Yi Feng looked at the other party as if he was looking at a fool and said directly, Damn. Can it be played like this? After hearing Yi Feng's words, the blood-sucking mantis couldn't believe his ears, and even felt that his three views were refreshed. At this time, the blood-sucking mantis looked at Yi Feng again, and the eyes had changed dramatically. In the future, if anyone said that his master was a simple prodigal son, he would definitely fight with the other party. A simple prodigal son can play so colorfully. Remember, you must wait until the other party takes all these low-grade spirit crystals before you can take action. This is a memorable thing. Yi Feng was worried that the blood-sucking mantis would make mistakes, and reminded it again. Listen. Is this what people say? Playing with the other party in the palm of your hand is actually a memorable thing. Terrible. Too scary. The blood-sucking mantis felt that the armless madman he had seen before was already perverted enough, but now he felt that Yi Feng was even more perverted. It's this guest room. At this moment, a low questioning voice sounded from outside the house. Master, 2 people have come. The new one has the strength of the 7th level of the Yuanshan realm. He should be the helper that the stall owner found. The blood-sucking mantis quickly told the situation outside. Come in, the door is not closed. Hearing the words of the blood-sucking mantis, Yi Feng shouted to the 2 people outside the door with a touch of excitement. Squeak. The door was easily pushed open. When Li Xiaoming and Tiger Boss looked at the 2,000 low-grade spirit crystals neatly arranged in the guest room, especially Yi Feng, who was sitting behind the low-grade spirit crystals and looking at the 2 people with excitement, their faces changed instantly. I know why you 2 came. You are willing to rob me, which means you think highly of me. These are 2,000 low-grade spirit crystals. I hope you 2 don't despise them. Yi Feng looked at the 2 people and said with a smile. Angry. Hearing this, both Li Xiaoming and Tiger Boss were angry. Enough, we are here to rob, are you here to send away beggars? You want to send us away with just 2,000 low-grade spirit crystals? We want more than that, but 3 million top-grade spirit stones. Li Xiaoming looked at Yi Feng first and shouted angrily. After all, his promise to Boss Tiger was 3 million top-grade spirit stones, and these 2,000 low-grade spirit crystals were only worth 200,000 top-grade spirit stones, which was a difference of 2,800,000. If this angered Boss Tiger, he would be in danger. System, what the hell did I say? I just said that this little bit of spirit crystals was not enough. Now, I, a dignified spendthrift, was despised by the robbers. What do you think we should do about this? Hearing Li Xiaoming's scolding, Yi Feng also scolded the system with anger. It was obviously a memorable event, but it turned into a memory that was unbearable to look back on. A dignified prodigal was despised by a robber. There was nothing more shameful than this. Boom. Just as Yi Feng scolded the system, a terrifying aura descended. As a hole was torn in the space beside him, a strong man in golden armor wearing golden armor and holding a golden sword walked out directly from it. Huh. After seeing that it was the old acquaintance, the strong man in golden armor, the blood-sucking mantis, beside him was relieved. It really didn't want to see the one-armed madman who made people feel depressed and scared again. What's the situation? I haven't encountered any danger yet. What are you doing here? Looking at the prodigal guards who appeared, Yi Feng also stared from left to right, with a confused face. Swish. As a golden knife aura flashed by, Li Xiaoming and Tiger Boss, who had not yet reacted, were directly annihilated. What's going on? Seeing the strong man in golden armor come out and kill 2 people with a knife and then leave directly, Yi Feng was really dumbfounded. Ding. As a prodigal rich man, the first time you are robbed is of extraordinary significance. This kind of person is not worthy of being included in your prodigal growth process. At this moment, the voice of the system suddenly sounded in Yi Feng's mind. Hearing the words of the system, Yi Feng's facial muscles twitched uncontrollably. He had just questioned the system, and had thought of countless possibilities in his mind, but he really didn't expect the system to play so coquettishly. The blood-sucking mantis on the side was also confused. Although it wanted to ask Yi Feng what was going on, it saw Yi Feng put away the 2,000 low-grade spirit crystals on the ground with a dark face, and shut its mouth very sensibly. Let's go back to the sect. Yi Feng completely lost the mood to play around, and said directly to the blood-sucking mantis on the side. Ding. Because the system miscalculated, the host is compensated with 100,000 loser points, and rewarded with the 9th grade 9th level 1000 feather sword array flag *100, and the 9 dragon burning heaven cauldron *1. Just as Yi Feng walked out of the restaurant with a sullen look, the voice of the system sounded in his mind again. System, you still have a conscience. Hearing that the system admitted its own problems and compensated these rewards, Yi Feng also laughed. He was angry, but who would go against the rewards? Chapter 80. If you want to be a spendthrift, just be a spendthrift, but don't harm us. Sitting on the blood-sucking mantis that had transformed into its original form, Yi Feng also checked the rewards compensated by the system. 1000 feather sword formation. After the formation is activated, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth within the range of the formation can be gathered to condense into thousands of feather swords, which can attack all living beings within the formation autonomously. 9 dragons burning heaven cauldron. The cauldron contains 9 demon dragon souls, which refine thousands of spiritual herbs, burn the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, and become the supreme divine pill. This 9th grade, 9th rank 1000 feather sword array flag should be a powerful killing array, and I was given 100 of them. I have to think about how to defeat these flags. As for the 9 dragons burning heaven cauldron, the system gives too little information, and I don't know much about the cauldron that alchemists need, but this thing should be very good. I'll go back and ask junior brother Wu Feng. As the sky gradually darkened, Yi Feng and the bloodthirsty mantis finally returned to the sect. Hey, why is the martial arts training ground so lively? Yi Feng, who was walking towards his residence, passed by the inner martial arts training ground and found that there were constant shouts coming from there. With a puzzled look, he was ready to go over to find out. Martial arts are about actual combat. Even if you have extraordinary enlightenment, it is useless if you can't use martial arts to the extreme in battle. Fight with all your strength. Just after arriving at the martial arts training ground, Bai Tianheng's angry voice reached Yi Feng's ears. Damn! What the hell is going on? Looking at the 5 Tianjiao and Leng Wufeng who had been trained like dogs, and then looking at Bai Tianheng, Xia Tianyu, and Luo Kai who were supervising them with a dignified look, Yi Feng really didn't understand what was going on. Big brother, you are finally back. Come and save me, the 3 elders are crazy. Leng Wufeng, who was sharp-eyed, saw Yi Feng coming over, and rushed towards Yi Feng like a madman as if he saw a life-saving straw. Junior brother, you are finally back. Hearing Leng Wufeng shout, the 5 Tianjiao who were fighting in the chaos also saw Yi Feng, and also rushed towards Yi Feng like crazy. What is going on? Looking at the 5 Tianjiao and Leng Wufeng who were running towards him, Yi Feng looked directly at the 3 elders with a puzzled look. Peng, Xia Tianyu stepped down with his spiritual power, and a half-meter-high square block of soil broke out. Yi Feng, when did you come back? You must be exhausted after going out. Sit down and rest for a while. As he said that, Xia Tianyu came over with the square block of soil in his arms, and then put the block of soil behind Yi Feng. It's cold. This block of soil has just been taken out from the ground. What if it gets cold and upsets my stomach? As he said that, Tianhen put his right hand on the block of soil, and the fire spiritual power surged wildly, and began to quickly heat the cold block of soil. Yifeng was accustomed to the operation of the two, because when Xia Tianyu just came to the sect, this scene had already appeared once, and at that time, Luo Qianxue, Luo Wuming and Leng Wufeng were shocked. Fuck, so inward looking? Seeing this scene, Luo Kai was dumbfounded. In order to please Yifeng, he really didn't expect Tianhen and Xia Tianyu to be able to do so much. Okay, you forced me to do this. Let me show you the powerful Vajra palm of a physical cultivator. Seeing Luo Kai pushing him off the dirt, Yifeng was also stunned. I was sitting well, why did you push me? Luo Kai is crazy, not trying to please Yifeng, the god of wealth, but courting death? Tianhen and Xia Tianyu, who saw this scene, also showed puzzled expressions. We are all disciples of the sect. Why should the junior brother get special treatment? If we want to talk about fairness and justice, we have to look at Elder Luo Kai. The five Tianjiao also had their own ideas at this time. It was really that the treatment they received from Yifeng was very different, which made them feel like they were picked up by the sect. But only Leng Wufeng felt that things would definitely not be so simple. After all, he was the first batch to enter the sect. As for Xia Tianyu and Luo Kai who came later, which one of them was not coming for Yifeng, he knew this very well. Peng! 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 At this moment, Luo Kai turned his hand into a knife, and as his hand knife turned into an afterimage and kept bombarding the soil, a series of muffled sounds also sounded, and the soil and rocks flew across, and the scene was extremely weird. 15 seconds later. When an exquisite earthen chair appeared in everyone's sight, everyone was stunned instantly. Yifeng, sit down quickly. Luo Kai smiled and pressed Yifeng, who was confused, on the earthen chair, and then looked at Tianhen and Xia Tianyu with a proud look. What are you all standing here for? Our three elders have wasted their precious time to personally guide you in your practice, and you are still not happy. Hurry up and go back to continue practicing. Then, Luo Kai directly scolded the five Tianjiao and Leng Wufeng. The speaker is unintentional, but the listener is intentional. System, can the power of the 100,000 feather sword array flags be controlled? Yifeng thought that if the power of the 1,000 feather sword array flags could be controlled, wouldn't it be just right to use it to help the five senior brothers and sisters and junior brother Wufeng practice? The formation flag that is enough to wipe out the peak power of the 9th level of the Tribulation Realm is used for actual combat training. This is definitely a waste. 5 Tianjiao, Leng Wufeng, you are amazing. You are selfless. You are a waste. But don't waste us. Ding. It can be controlled. If it is not used by the host, others need to drip blood to recognize the master, to fully control the power of the formation flag. No matter how powerful each formation flag is, it lasts for 10 hours. It's done. Hearing the system's answer, Yifeng also slapped his thigh excitedly. He felt more and more that he was born to be a spendthrift. Seeing Yifeng slapping his thigh excitedly, everyone's faces were full of question marks. They didn't know why Yifeng suddenly got excited. 3 elders, I just saw the brothers sparring, and I don't think it has much effect. As he spoke, a flag appeared in Yifeng's hand, and he spoke again. This is a 9th grade 9th level killing formation flag, and it can also control the power of the killing formation. It is most suitable to use this killing formation to hone the brothers' practical experience and martial arts control. Crazy. We tolerate your profligacy, but can you be a human being? You are using a killing formation that can wipe out the 9th level peak powerhouse of the Tribulation Realm to train us. You want to kill us. There must be a limit to profligacy. You are crazy. The 5 prodigies and Leng Wufeng were completely crazy at this moment. They had thought that Yifeng would come and save them from the dire situation. Who would have thought that Yifeng would not only not save them, but also add fuel to the fire? Who could bear this? Yifeng, isn't it a bit too extravagant? At this time, Luo Kai also asked, with a twitch on his face. After all, he was only at the 4th level of the Tribulation Realm, while Bai Tianheng and Xia Tianyu were only at the 3rd level of the Tribulation Realm. It is no exaggeration to say that once the formation flag is activated, this killing formation will be enough to kill the 3 of them 100 times.